Week 1 is here, and the Houston Texans are heading back to the site of ending the Colts season last year and ultimately the field where they ended up becoming AFC South champions. In that matchup, there's a brand new element to this offense. His name, Stefon Diggs. Will Diggs lead this team? How will he lead this Texans team? With a matchup with the Colts, history bound to repeat itself, right? Right? I sure hope not. Some depth chart observations, your questions as well. Welcome into the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans. If you're watching this live, appreciate you checking it out. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you as well. Get in the comment section, put your questions in there. We will have plenty of time to answer anything and everything that you want to get to. Today, let's start with Stefon Diggs, named a captain by the Houston Texans, and that was not much of a surprise when you hear the way the team talked about Stefon Diggs. When Nico Collins tells you that it's too long of a list for him to explain how useful Stefon Diggs has been to him already. When Tank Dell says that he doesn't even have to talk to Stefon Diggs about wanting to talk football, Diggs just walks up and talks to him. And when CJ Stroud says that Diggs has shown up and been unselfish to this team, you knew there were going to be some good vibes around Stefon Diggs and him ending up as a leader on this team and ultimately a captain here. He was a captain in Buffalo previously as well. So that doesn't totally absolve any questions that people may have about Stefon Diggs. But I did enjoy Stefon Diggs' interview with GQ. That's right, GQ. Diggs is a big fancy dresser. And so GQ did a profile on him and talked about him. And here are some of the highlights from that GQ interview that I felt stood out to me. Then I want to talk about where Diggs fits in on this Texans team from an offensive standpoint. Diggs talking about how it was difficult to spend your entire year getting ready for 17 games and then be judged on how he acted in those 17 games, especially when he wasn't getting the football on a consistent basis. And Diggs said, hey, it makes sense for stars to want the football. I don't know one star in any sport that doesn't want the ball, Diggs said to GQ. If you ain't getting the ball and it's not a problem, you ain't no competitor. So Diggs justifying some of his actions and some of the ways that he acted on the sidelines that people have been highly critical of with the competitor mentality. And I seem to get this to an extent, and actions speak louder than words to a lot of people and to most people, and context is necessary to those actions. And Diggs, of course, has had some moments on the sidelines that from the outside looking in probably didn't look too great, but he hasn't had any of those moments here with the Texans. In fact, he spent more time teaching guys than anything else here. And the only time I've seen Stefon Diggs get frustrated is when Stefon Diggs messed up. I mean, I can remember a play in training camp one day. He came down 1 foot in the end zone, 1 foot out of bounds. The official very clearly did the old, waved him off. And Diggs was furious. He took his helmet off. He slammed his helmet. He was mad at himself that he didn't come down with that. When he messed up a drill, he would ask for another rep. He'd go to the back of the line and have another rep there. So this is a guy that is an intense competitor. He's made no bones about that he is indeed an intense competitor. And he's not afraid to have that be an element of his personality and be a public element of his personality that people observe. Now, Diggs was fantastic to start last season, very early on in the season, one of the best wide receivers in football. There was a change in the way that they operated the offense in Buffalo, and Diggs in the latter part of the season didn't look too good. They ran the ball more in Buffalo. He had tougher competition as the number one wide receiver on the team, so his better cornerbacks. And Diggs sort of explained the little dip there at the end of the season to GQ. He said the games looked a lot different. You can blame me. I don't mind blaming me. I got big-ass shoulders, but pay attention, pay real close attention, watch the game. Of course, there's plenty of plays I want back. Now, it's me speaking, not his. The playoff drop is probably one of those. But there's a lot of plays that didn't go my way. I need a lot of things to go right to get the ball. You can't roll out of bed and get 800 yards in the first 8 games. Your best receiver's doing that. You tell me that the last 10, what changed? Were there changes going on? I just pay attention to what really happened and not what people try to act like happened, like for the last 10 games. I forgot how to play effing football. Stefon Diggs didn't forget how to play effing football, in his words. And I've been one of the people that have been critical of that element of the conversation around Diggs. They ran the ball a whole lot more. They threw the ball in shorter ways and tried to get the ball into some more sideways passes. And Diggs just wasn't as involved in the offense. And then the better defenses sort of took him away as well. So I don't believe, combined with that as the reason, I don't want to call it an excuse. You can call it an excuse if you'd like. That as the reason for the Diggs drop off and what we've seen in training camp, you put those two things together. I still believe Stefon Diggs is a big time wide receiver in this league that can put together elite levels of production for this Houston Texans team. So I'm not worried about his talents dropping off or him not getting utilized like he was in the final little bit there in Buffalo. In fact, the utilization the Texans might put Diggs in should have him being a contender for the best results here in this wide receiver room. One more thing from the GQ article. I liked this comment. And Stefon Diggs mentioned multiple times he doesn't feel like he has to correct everything. He doesn't have to address everything. I liked one of the things he said where he said, you don't have to talk bad about your ex-girlfriend to your new girlfriend, which I thought was a pretty funny one. And then Diggs had this to say, I love the noise. Push me in the corner. I'm going to show you my best stuff. I'm a person who enjoys being doubted. I enjoy proving people wrong, but also I enjoy doing it for myself. Everything I say, I am standing true to it. And every time I prove myself right, everybody disappears when they get quiet. I like when they get quiet, he said. That's Stefon Diggs in his own words in GQ. It's worth checking out the entire article. There's some good stuff in there. A lot of background on Stefon Diggs growing up, why he picked Maryland and things like that. So it's worth your time. I encourage you to check it out. Now, my question for you, and let me know in the comment section as you do this here, I'm going to give you my reasoning. What's Stefon Diggs going to lead this team in? You going to lead the team in receptions? You going to lead the team in yards? Is he going to lead the team in touchdowns? Because I have a very clear delineation on where I think Diggs is going to have the most success and where I think Nico Collins and Tank Dell are going to have the most success. To me, and I'll throw it here on the screen, I feel like Diggs is going to be the receptions leader for this team. And the reason I believe that is Diggs is going to play out of the slot a lot when they have three wide receiver situations. That's going to put him on an inferior coverage guy, and that's going to allow Stefon Diggs to go out there and do big things, get open quicker. Remember, Diggs told us it's not who's open, it's who's the most open. He's going to get the most open on a lesser player in that slot cornerback, nickel cornerback setup when the Texans put him out there. So I believe he's going to be the receptions leader. And that's part of he's going to get open. That's the way the offense is situated. You're going to have plays for Stefon Diggs. And I feel like going out of the slot, he's going to have a lot of opportunities to be super successful and get your receptions. I feel like your yardage leader is going to be Nico Collins, though. His ability to run with the ball after catch. He was one of the top yak guys in football last year. He makes big plays. He's not afraid to run over the middle as a big body. Not every big body wide receiver likes to do that. Collins, to me, is going to be the yards leader on this team. And then I'm going to give Tank Dell touchdown leader. I just don't know how you're going to defend Tank Dell in the red zone when Diggs and Collins and Dalton Schultz and Joe Mixon are all on the field. He's going to be the guy that just gets lost. We saw Dell's prowess, I think back to it was the Denver game where he scored early on, or maybe it was one of the games. I can't remember exactly which one it is. It's a pass to Dell. It's about 6 yards out. There's two guys. He shakes loose, breaks through, and finds himself in the end zone. And to me, I just don't know how you're going to constantly defend Tank Dell in the red zone. He's going to get loose. His route running is so good. He's so quick. His speed, his agility. You think about Tampa, the game winner in the end zone where he just kind of hits a really nice move and jumps up and gets the ball. Plus, CJ Stroud just has, to me, the deepest connection with Tank Dell, not only on the field, but off the field. It feels like a lot of the stuff they do is just second nature because they've created such a strong bond on the field and off the field. And so Diggs as the receptions leader, Collins as the yard leader, and Dell as the touchdown leader is my thought prediction here for this Texans team here in 2024. Would everybody be on board with that? Be okay with that? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Let's get to some of your comments. We'll talk about history repeating itself in Indianapolis here in just a moment. Before I get to your comments, though, I do want to tell you about my friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best and easiest way to play daily fantasy. It is so easy to get signed up at Prize Picks. The link's in my description down below, and put in one of your lineups. You can put one in for just a game. You can put one in for a season-long lineup. It's daily fantasy. You're predicting more or less on a given statistic that they show you. For instance, here's a pick that I put in the other night. $5 power play, 5 into 18 if Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud are each more than half a passing touchdown, and Stefon Diggs gets himself a touchdown as well. Diggs is definitely scoring in the first game, right? It's so simple. You play your first $5, you get $50 for free. When you use the link in my description down below, sign up with the code Stoots, STOOTS as well. That will get you that promo bonus. Plus, they got a freebie square for you. Caleb Williams, more than half a yard. Yeah, that's a freebie square you can add to things once a week. Prize Picks, always taking care of you with the fun and easy stuff and the best way to play daily fantasy. Check it out in the link in the description down below. Comments and then history repeating itself. I must Pandaline, good to see you. Rich Boy J, appreciate you jumping in. Gage says swarm the like button. It's that little thumbs up. Hit it, and you will see that number go up. Jake, good to see you. P Nasty, good to see you. He said, where's my boy Nightbot at? Well, funny enough, Nightbot is no longer a part of the channel because I've got some auto stuff that I do myself now. So I can just hit a button, the stuff goes into the chat, and I put it down there. Jake's got a super chat. He's jumping to the front of the line here. Might be a bad omen to put number 4 on Lassiter. What do y'all think? No. Come on. Numbers. So here's the thing for me. Numbers don't make the player. The player makes the numbers. Okay? Like 99, I didn't feel like 99 was a cool number till J.J. Watt's out there ripping quarterbacks' heads off. Right? 80 wasn't a cool wide receiver number until Andre Johnson was skying over people for touchdowns. Guys make the number. I don't even associate some of those numbers with past players. I've moved on from that. And in the era of good vibes that we've got going on with the Texans, it's time to reclaim numbers that you don't like. So I'm not worried about the locksmith having number 4, Jake. I appreciate your thought, though, and I certainly appreciate the super chat. If you've got a super chat, you will jump to the front of the line. David says, holy moly, a Cody Stoots live stream. Exactly what I needed after this crappy West Texas flood weather. Hey, hope you're doing okay, David. Appreciate you jumping in. Britton says, what up, Stoots? Excited to watch the offense in the first game. That's going to be the thing to watch here in this first one is that offense. I mean, the defense is exciting, but I mean, the long ball, passing the ball, that's the home run of football. Chicks dig the long ball is what they used to say in baseball. All of us dig the passing game and the way that football is approached. Zach, we will talk about Cam Akers. I'm going to star that and come back to it. Diggs is fashion. He's the reason Pat McAfee sports his fashion shin guard on the program. I did not know that. Yeah, Diggs is that GQ article's got a bunch of Stefon Diggs in his fancy clothes. They're all probably more expensive. Probably outfits cost more than what I make in a year. So, yeah. Dudes, where do we find fried Monte Cristo sandwiches? Damn it, that's a great question. Let me come back to this at the end. Oh, Cheddar's. Cheddar's has no. They've got just a regular Monte Cristo, not a fried one. I'll come back to this, Brandon. P Nasty says, after we win the AFC Championship, I think we will all Pandaline. Oh, yes. I must Pandaline is explaining her name here in the caption. Jake says, why would they make Weeks a captain? Were they obligated to put one white guy on? Oh, come on now. Why would you make the longest tenured Texan of all time a captain on the team? Come on. Come on. It's also a way to represent the special teamers, too. Also a way to represent the special teamers. Yeah, I guess Cheddar's and Cats. I guess you do. I mean, are you talking about like a deep fried Monte? We can talk about the Monte Cristo later. Sorry, I'll save that. Stefon's a pure talent from Patty. Yeah, I mean, he's very good. He's very good. And he's still very good, too. I mean, don't let the last 10 games or so in Buffalo fool you. He is still very, very good at what he does. David says he's going to lead the team in receptions. Torian says Steph leads in reception, Tank and TDs, Collins and yards. Yep, all right in lockstep with me on this one. Jim says Diggs will have more yards. Look, likely if you're leading in receptions, you can lead in yards. I just don't know if the yards per reception is going to be as high as a guy like Nico. So Nico could miss, 20 or so receptions that Diggs doesn't have, and maybe the yards per reception make up for that. Kyle says he'll lead with leadership. The best way to lead is with leadership. Brandon says could be TDs. I hope they're trying these low probability fades in the red zone this season. No, that's your facetiousness is showing. Facetiousness. Jalen Johnson, Nico going to get the most yards, Tank the most touchdowns. I feel you. Kyle says he thinks Tank's the dude and he's going to lead in all three. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, that is a huge season for Tank. Josh says Diggs has received too much flack for being passionate, competitive, and wanting to win. Glad he's on the Houston Texans. I think he's going to help us out big time, especially in the playoffs. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that. He's going to help this offense. He's going to help take this offense to a whole new level. Jim asks, what would a successful season be for the Texans? AFC Championship game. Dime, we'll talk about the unofficial depth chart. Make your prediction on who scores the first touchdown. Too many weapons for me to guess, but I'm going to be safe and go with Mixon. This is a good prediction. Mixon is a kind of a safe one. Lassiter Ward is 420. That is true. That is true. Also in the GQ article, Stefon Diggs revealed that it was quite expensive to get number one away from Jimmy Ward. So congrats to Jimmy Ward for negotiating that. Blue Boy says, no Will Anderson, no Christian Harris, no Autry. I'm a little concerned. I believe Will Anderson will play. I talked about that on the video yesterday. I believe Will Anderson will play. We'll get our first injury report tomorrow, but I believe Will Anderson will play. Trezzy Betts says, I never even thought Watson when I saw Lassiter taking that number. I really didn't either. He's going to make the number his own. Are you buying the concern about Will not playing Sunday? Nope. I believe he'll play. I believe Will Anderson will play. Dudes, whose fajitas are better than Lupe? Well, we'll save the food questions for the end. These are all good questions. Michael gives me a perfect jumping off point to the next thing I want to talk about. I'm worried about our linebacker. There should be a little worry about the linebackers. Christian Harris not going to play in this game, but Jonathan Taylor is an absolute monster. You all know this, and D'Amico Ryans knows this. He talked about it on Monday about Jonathan Taylor and how this team is set to handle Jonathan Taylor in this upcoming game. Here's the head coach.
I think he's a successful running back just because he runs with such great contact balance. It takes more than one guy to get him down. He does a really good job breaking tackles. He plays physical. He plays downhill. He runs the ball, plays the game the right way. I think that's what makes him a really good running back.
Look, D'Amico Ryans could tell you 50 different things that make Jonathan Taylor a really good running back. He is fantastic, and he's been fantastic against the Houston Texans. Jonathan Taylor, in 6 games versus the Texans in his career, has 902 total yards and 8 touchdowns. Okay, he has 811 rushing yards. He has 91 receiving yards. Taylor has been an absolute monster for this Texans team. He is quickly approaching Derrick Henry territory when you think about how scary Derrick Henry was on that stretch where it felt like he was getting 2,000 yards every time he played the Houston Texans. Taylor is on that track. And this year, he's going to play the Texans with the healthiest version of the Colts offensive line in a long time. The Colts are going to be healthy. Week 1, ready to go. Taylor is going to be healthy. Week 1, ready to go. And Taylor's going to have had an off season with this team. Week 1, ready to go. How do you stop Jonathan Taylor? how do you go about accounting for what he brings to the table? It may be as simple as you can't stop Jonathan Taylor. They've never stopped Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I went through the yards here, but he's had 188 in the game last year, 161 the game before that, 143, 145. His rookie year is really the only year he wasn't ripping off 100-yard games against this Texans team. Been very good against the Texans. How do you account for Jonathan Taylor and the success that he's had? Well, the first part of that is that defensive line has got to be excellent. Okay. It starts with the defensive tackles. Foley Fadukasi is supposed to be a run stopper. He's supposed to be a brick wall. We've seen it in training camp practices. We've talked about it here on the channel. He can just grab an offensive lineman, stand him up, and nobody goes anywhere. Fadukasi has done that. Edwards is going to need to be able to get in there, penetrate, force Taylor to go elsewhere, not execute what he wants. The tough part for Fadukasi, the tough part for Mario Edwards is the best offensive linemen for the Colts are those interior guys. Ryan Kelly at center is fantastic. Very nice guy. I interviewed him after a Texans game one time. I had to get like a Sirius XM interview for him. So I had to hand him my phone. And he waited. He was like, everybody was gone in the locker room, but he waited around for me. Very nice guy. Good football player. And then great football player in Quentin Nelson, left guard. It's a lot of times you have success with Jonathan Taylor because those guys do their job so well. So if it's tough for those interior guys to make moves and to get things going against Jonathan Taylor, you got to have the edge guys take care of business. Now, typically you wouldn't think of Danielle Hunter as an excellent pass rusher, as also a really good run stopper, but he had a lot of success last year. He was tied for the league lead in tackles for a loss. So that counts as sacks, but that also counts his ability to go in there and take care of his business. Will Anderson, as a rookie, was, I believe, second in ESPN's run stop win rate, which was even better than his pass rush win rate. Those are all very hard to say, and I practiced a lot so that I don't stumble over the words. But Anderson and Hunter are very important, keeping things inside, in lanes, so that Taylor's not bouncing things out, but also darting through the tackle situation that the Colts have and making plays on Jonathan Taylor. Will Anderson is absolutely capable of beating his man, darting in there, tackle for a loss on Jonathan Taylor. You'll need to see that. And then on top of those four guys, it then comes to the linebackers. If the Texans had Christian Harris, I would feel so much better about this matchup. Not to say that there is a giant drop-off to Henry To'oTo'o or Jake Hansen. I just believe that Harris is a little bit better than those guys, and he's got a little bit more sideline-to-sideline usefulness. Azeez Al-Shire can play sideline-to-sideline as well. If you had two of those guys, you feel like you'd cover a whole lot of ground and be able to handle Jonathan Taylor. But with no Harris, Al-Shire is going to have to be excellent from that middle linebacker spot. The green dot on his helmet, the extension of D'Amico Ryans on the field. He'll have to have people ready to attack the Colts on the field. And then you're going to need Hansen and Henry To'oTo'o when they're in there in the three linebacker sets to be excellent. Okay. Henry To'oTo'o last year, we talked about it here on the channel a couple of days ago, had bad angles in what was his second NFL game, had bad angles, got swallowed up, blocked himself. Okay. Took himself out of plays. That's got to be better. To'oTo'o's talked about how he has improved his tackling from last year as well. And then Hansen, he's a jack of all trades, maybe a master of none. He's going to be the guy that is the Harris replacement when there's three linebackers on the field. And he's going to have to get in there and get dirty with Jonathan Taylor and these guards and some of the tackles trying to get up to the next level. You cannot have Jonathan Taylor running wild and setting things up, making things easy for Anthony Richardson and this passing attack. Richardson can't throw them to a victory. But if he has to assist Jonathan Taylor, they can absolutely win that way. And then here's another piece of slowing down Jonathan Taylor that you didn't see last year in the final game, and you will see this week, is the safety play. Jimmy Ward, starting, healthy, ready to go. Jalen Petrie, new position, ready to go for this team. I said ready to go 15 times this video. I hope you're not playing a drinking game. That is something else that is going to help out with Jonathan Taylor. Jimmy Ward, the trust that they have in Murray, Eric Murray, and Kalen Bullock to play sort of that center fielder and just kind of see things in front of them allows Jimmy Ward to walk up and help in situations where you may need him to help against Jonathan Taylor. And Petrie, you saw it in the Giants preseason game. We've talked about it a ton in the preseason. He darts in there from that nickel cornerback spot and makes plays on rushing plays. So those guys, obviously it starts with the defensive line. The linebackers have to be excellent. The safeties have to help. And that's all, if you do it right and it's not blocked up perfectly, that's how you can slow down Jonathan Taylor. I don't know that you stop Jonathan Taylor. History may repeat itself from that standpoint. It's worth noting he ran for 188 and a touchdown against the Texans in January, and the Colts still lost that game. So history can repeat itself a couple of different ways. But I don't know how you're stopping Jonathan Taylor. You just got to slow him down. You get him into some third and longs, some second and longs. They start throwing the ball with Richardson. He can't throw them into a win. Then the Texans can really start taking advantage of the Colts. About to get to questions and answers here in just a second. I want to go through something on the depth chart. Let's get to a couple of comments here before we get to that. All right, let's see here. BG's made it in. Appreciate you. Bubba says, Diggs, Catch King, Nico, Yak King, Dell, Long Ball King, all tied at 12 touchdowns. Bubba, I hope you are Miss Cleo and you can tell the future. Texans fan Jay says, Stoots, I'm curious to see the run game on both sides of the ball. Let's go. Yeah, you've got to be able to run the football against this Colts team, limit what those defensive tackles can do, take some of those the ends that they have out of it, the younger guys, and Latu and Quiddy Pay. So run the football go a long way, kind of, especially if you get a lead, just grind them down with Joe Mixon. Bennigan's is alive. I'll tell you a Bennigan story at the end. I must Pandoline. The season of good vibes and running with it. Yeah, I've deemed D'Amico Ryan since the day D'Amico Ryans got hired. I've deemed the D'Amico Ryans era the era of good vibes. And this is going to be yet another season of good vibes. Ian says, H-Town till we drown. There's been some rough moments here. Do you think Hansen and Toto are in different leagues when it comes to pass coverage? I know Henry's great at diagnosing. Like Hansen can be underrated in this stretch without Harris. I like Hansen in coverage more than Toto. He's had some really successful moments against a couple of tight ends in the preseason, so I lean Hansen on that one. Good question, Sid. Jake's got a super chat. He goes to the front of the line. On the reel, everyone is locked in. I can see it in their eyes and the tone in their voice. It's about to be epic. I can feel it. Y'all stop being and throw your boy some money. I appreciate it, Jake. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chats. I greatly appreciate the super chats. I appreciate everybody watching. So thank you, everybody watching. Thank you for the super chat, Jake. I appreciate that. And yeah, this is going to be a fun season. This is a fun job that I get to do, and I get to do it because all of you show up on a Tuesday afternoon and we talk about some Texans. Darkman says Texans 6-0 in the division. Book it. Okay. Rich Boy Jay says, in your video the other day, you talked about how the DT situation could derail the season, but didn't factor in Autry. Do you think he will be a big asset at defensive tackle when he returns? I'd feel much better if Autry is playing in this one, just to get him in there at defensive tackle. He plays end-to-end tackle, but just to have an option there, feel good. What is he going to be when he shows up? Like, I mean, he wasn't a factor in practice when he was practicing. Like, he hasn't practiced with the team for a while now. He's going to miss 6 weeks. And yeah, it's going to be just, full speed ahead for him to sprint to the end of the season. And he's going to be healthy, but what does he bring to the table? So could he factor in? Certainly. Said we need to make AR one-dimensional, have them play from behind. If we can get a lead, I don't think they can come back. They cannot. They cannot throw the ball to come back. Jonathan Taylor's the new T.Y. Hilton. He might be. Any rumors any insight to the Jonathan Allen rumors, the defensive tackle from Washington? It's not rumors because I don't believe it's true. I don't believe there's any interest there. I think it's just people putting bad team, good team, position where good team is not good, position where bad team is good, and trying to put it together. I don't think there's anything there. He's expensive too. The money commitment's probably not what they want, and you got to trade for him. So there's cost there. I don't think that's the way they want to operate. I'll start with the defense tackles and linebackers. The defensive ends are going to be there. Yeah, I mean, look, that Anderson and Hunter, like this defense is built so that those two guys go crazy, and the other 9 guys benefit from them just taking care of their business. Bubba Homeschool trying to make some nicknames happen. The Bullies, okay, and then the Ghost Riders in the sky. All right, Bubba. I don't know. We'll see if we can get those to stick. We'll see. Sting versus Pittman Jr. matchup. I take Sting every time. Yep. I think Sting versus anybody on this one. It's Sting for you wrestling fans. Sid asks, can we run the ball against the Colts? This is actually a big question. And I'm going to say maybe. And here's why I say maybe. I was not impressed with the run blocking in the preseason. The run blocking in the preseason left a lot to be desired. I actually feel like some of Dameon Pierce's failures in the preseason led to me questioning the run blocking of this offensive line a little bit more than I initially did. Now, they have not played a ton with the starting 5 that they want. And there have been moments where that starting 5 and Joe Mixon have been able to run the football. That's a very, very tough front 7 that the Colts have. Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner in the middle, speed, and Zaire Franklin at linebacker. It's not going to be easy. Okay. If I was telling you, hey, what would you bet on Joe Mixon? Bet on Joe Mixon. I would say cautiously under on what Joe Mixon can bring to the table. But they can supplement a tough rushing situation with some short passing. And I believe we're going to see that. We saw it in the preseason as well with Stefon Diggs, 3rd and 1, 10-yard slant. Okay. Caught the slant, boom, up the field for 10 yards. So we can supplement, the Texans have to be thinking, we can supplement any sort of issues running by throwing the ball because the Colts don't have the guys to cover. It's a good question, Sid. I don't feel great about this matchup from a run the football standpoint. Sid, appreciate the super chat as well. If you have a super chat question, it goes to the front of the line as well. Will Anderson playing this weekend? I would tell you that yes, I believe he is going to play this weekend. I don't know why the smart device just started playing music. That's weird. Colts won't be able to keep up with the scoring. That probably won't. They won't. Jake with a super chat here. This is for AJ. On and offshore wind turbines made me a little money. Keep your head down and work your ass off. You'll get there. All right. Is the last message for me or for them? Either way, thank you for the super chat, Jake. Appreciate it. For AJ, on and offshore wind turbines made me a little money. Just keep your head down and work your ass off. You'll get there. Offshore wind turbines. That's pretty dangerous work. Pretty not easy. Jake, appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you. Petrie and Ward close to the line of scrimmage will cause a lot of turnovers. I'm not going to lie. Petrie feels like he's kind of ball hawking, either knocking stuff away or somebody makes a quick decision, he steps in front of it. Really excited to see Petrie in this new position. This is really the last ditch effort to maximize what Petrie can do. Josh said I had to put my beer away after the 7th, ready to go. You. 119 dozen 55 sweet. When are you doing the season record predictions live video? I tell you that's either coming Wednesday or Thursday. We will play the win-win loss game this week before the NFL season starts. We will play the win-win loss game before the NFL season starts. I promise you. Let's see here. Of all the young guys, who do you think has the highest ceiling? Sting, CJ Will, Christian Harris. I mean, Derek Stingley has the potential to be the best player at his position. I suppose CJ Stroud has that as well. I don't know that Will Anderson's ever going to be the best defensive end in football. He can be very close, but I don't know that he's ever going to be like Myles Garrett. I would tell you CJ Stroud because he's the quarterback, and he could be the best quarterback in football at some point. Jim with a little need to know stat. Tiny Fairbairn needs 37 points to begin the Texans' all-time leading scorer so to reach the top spot between games 4 and 7. I hope he kicks 37 extra points to get there. I don't want to see field goal Tiny Fairbairn. Okay. Couple of depth chart observations. Let's go through the depth chart real quick here. Pull this up. Do you need me on the depth chart? Let's do this here. Get me next to the depth chart. We know about the quarterbacks. That's obvious. Dameon Pierce is running back 2 on this team. Now, this is the unofficial depth chart. Take that for what it's worth. Dameon Pierce is running back number 2 on this team. That's the first thing that jumped out to me. Despite the preseason success of Cam Akers, the practice success of Dare Ogunbowale and British Brooks, Dameon Pierce is running back number 2. We talked about that issue with the blocking of the offensive line. Maybe that has been the explanation for Dameon Pierce's issues. 3 starting wide receivers, and notice we go right from running back to wide receiver. No fullback listed. British Brooks, if he had to play fullback, could play fullback. I suppose Cade Stover could do some blocking from that spot as well, but no fullback on the depth chart. Outside of that, Blake Fisher as your swing tackle. That is not anything of a surprise. Hutchinson is your outside backup, along with Mechie as your outside backup. Woods and Sims, your inside backups, as Stefon Diggs plays a lot in the slot in the 3 wide receiver sets. Let's flip down to the defense here. Kurt Hinish and Christian Harris are on short-term IR, but assuming they were healthy, they would be playing. Kalen Bullock in front of MJ Stewart is interesting to me as well. Okuda as the backup for Lassiter. I would tell you he's also probably the backup for Derek Stingley as well, should Stingley need a breather or take a step away. Hanson's going to be on the field for Christian Harris, as you see here. I would tell you Barnett's probably the true backup, and that Hughes rotates in if Anderson or Hunter aren't on the field. And then your final observation here, special teams. Steven Sims is your punt returner, but Tank Dell's going to factor in 2 punt returns, and Dameon Pierce and Steven Sims are your 2 kick returners. I don't know that I love that, but I don't know that you're going to actually have a lot of kick returning this year, because I feel like a lot of teams are just going to kick the sucker out of the back of the end zone. So that's where I am on the depth chart. While we're here, I want to tell you guys about my friends at Autograph. Autograph is the free-to-use, free-to-download app. You can check out the link in the description down below. When you get it, sign up with my code Stoots. What is Autograph? Well, be a fan, get rewarded. Okay, your favorite teams in the Autograph app. It's a one-stop shop for all the content. Listen, read, and watch, including these videos. In the Autograph app, you earn rewards, which lead to discounted or even free tickets. And the ticketing app through Autograph is always no fees. Okay? Link in the description for Autograph. Again, free to use, free to download, and it puts all your Texans content or your favorite team. They've got Astros, college football, puts it all in one space. Read, listen, watch, and earn rewards for being a big fan. It is a app for big fans to get big rewards, including, if you watch, listen, and read enough, free stuff in the line of tickets, and of course the ticketing app through Autograph. No fees. No fees. How great is that? After you see all the different fees you pay for when you go to Ticketmaster and this and that. Nope. Autograph ticketing app, no fees. Real fans get rewarded when they use Autographs. Check them out. Link in the description down below. Use my code STOOTS, STOOTS, when you sign up as well. We're officially in the Q&A section. You got Super Chat, you go to the front of the line. Sask asks, do you play Prize Picks? If so, where are you placing your prize? I play Prize Picks. Yeah, I do play Prize Picks. And if you've never played it before, play it through the link in my description down below. Use the code STOOTS. Get that free 50 when you play your first 5. You don't have to win the first 5. You just get the 50 after you play your first 5. So let's see here. Rich Boy J. So you're a wrestling fan, huh? Did you attend WrestleMania 17 at the Astrodome? I did. I even went to FanFest the day before. WrestleMania 17, sponsored by Gallery Furniture. Shout out to Mattress Mac. Hope you're feeling better here in the next couple of days, Mattress Mac. I was at WrestleMania 17. Fantastic event. My mom is the best mom in the world for sending me and 3 of my friends. Had a blast. Incredible event. The dome was rocking, had floor seats, not real close up, but they were great seats. Saw everything. We're near the aisle, so we could kind of peek in the aisle as well. Loved it. WrestleMania 17. I mean, my mom I can't even imagine how expensive it was and how the sacrifices she had to make to get me that. But when wrestling came to town, Mama Stoots made sure I was there. All right, we have to address the Zach asked about Cam Akers. They believe in Dameon Pierce, and until they stop believing in Dameon Pierce, I'm going to believe that I should too believe in Dameon Pierce. Brandon asks, where do we find the fried Monte Cristo sandwiches? Okay, so I was told that Cheddar's, the restaurant, purchased the Monte Cristo recipe from Bennigan. Okay? That's what I was told. I don't know if that's an old internet rumor, but Cheddar's purchased the Bennigan's Monte Cristo recipe. Bennigan's is still around. The closest one is, I think, somewhere in West Texas. But Bennigan's is still around. But it's easier to find a Cheddar's who have the Monte Cristo that you're thinking of. Easier to find a Cheddar's than it is to find a Bennigan's, because the closest Bennigan's is in Borger, Texas. Okay? Out there in West Texas. Got an 806 area code, so I know it's in West Texas. Yeah. Borger, population 12,511, is northeast of Amarillo. So not easy to get to Borger, but there are Bennigan's around still. Where do you get them? Cheddar's, and then Katz's has a good Monte Cristo as well. And then let me tell you about one of my favorite things that I've ever had in my life. There was a place in Lubbock that served a Monte Cristo cheeseburger. So they'd make a cheeseburger, and then they'd stick some skewers through it. They'd put it in a batter. They'd deep fry it. It was basically a deep fried cheeseburger. They called it a Monte Cristo cheeseburger, but basically what they did is they battered and fried a cheeseburger. It was pristine. I loved it. They served it with like a spicy raspberry sauce. It was great. That place isn't there anymore. If I could get with a local burger joint and create a Monte Cristo cheeseburger, that would be great. I'd promote them to put the Monte Cristo cheeseburger on the menu. Okay. So, yeah, there's that. All right. So we got caught up on the Monte Cristo conversation. Let's see here. Mr. Bo on the top. Good to see you. 119 dozen 55 sweet. Schedule maker didn't do Texans any favors this year. Used to always play the Colts late. The further into the season, more likely AR's injured and out. In 2024, we're done before Halloween. He played 4 games last year. So, I mean, you catch him in the first month plus, then yeah. I don't believe he will play the second game against the Texans. I just don't believe he's going to stay healthy. He's never stayed healthy. He played 4 games last year, left 2 of them early. So I'm not worried about Anthony Richardson. And you can clip this. I'll clip it myself and come back to it. I'm not worried about Anthony Richardson. I don't believe in him long term. He's not an accurate passer. He's not a crisp passer. Yes, he can hit deep bombs. Okay. He's a really, really impressive runner when things are blocked up perfectly for him. He's not going to go out there and make guys miss. He's not as scary as some of the other mobile quarterbacks. I just don't believe in him. Bubba thinks that British Brooks is going to go crazy. I don't think so, Bubba. Dime asks, are we doing a Survivor Series pick'em? So we will have the Survivor pool for you to join. I need to make that. I will work on that tonight. In fact, I'm making myself a reminder right now. We will have a Survivor pool. It will be free to enter. If you beat me, you will win something. What is that? Beat me and find out. So we will have that. I will put it in the link I'll put the link in the description of the next couple of videos. So I will make sure that we have time for folks to join before the Sunday games. We'll lock it at game time. Okay. So if you miss Thursday or Friday's game, you'll still have Sunday's games and Monday's games to pick from. How's your day going, Cody? I'm living the dream. I've had a great day. I got almost 200 of my friends here talking Texans. It's great, man. Thank you for asking, Gage. Hope you're having a great day. AJ says San Antonio Texans fam, stand up. Planning to go to San Antonio in a couple weeks. I'm thinking maybe the Tuesday after Sunday Night Football or something like that. Tuesday is the day that works because of the off day from the Texans, but maybe a Monday night, for Monday Night Football. Who knows, But next couple weeks, I'll be in San Antonio. That's the plan. I'll be in San Antonio. How many rushing yards do you think Cam and Joe will have? I would tell you it's less than 100. I don't believe they're going to run all over the Colts. I think Will Anderson could hit Myles Garrett kind of numbers. I hope you're right. I don't believe he's quite to that level, but I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. Nick Broker, the name I haven't got a clue about. Nick Broker's been on this team for over a year now. He's claimed last year around cutdown time. Played guard last year. He's a backup tackle and a backup guard for the team now. So Broker started a couple of the preseason games, I believe, at right tackle. Christopher, good to see you, man. Christopher's always in the comment section, man. Appreciate it. And he says, hey, hit that like and subscribe button for my boy Stoots. Patty says, saw you on KHOU. Yeah, you did, Patty. That was fun. Fun to be on the preview show with Jason and Zach and the whole crew and Seth, B. Scott and JJ Moses and Kim Davis. It was all fun. That was a fun one. Love when I get to go visit with the KHOU crew. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we got Catalan and one of the McCourty twins. Catalan's pretty good. I can't be too critical of Catalan. Mama Stoots the real MVP. Yep, she is. She's most valuable person in my life. But, Monahan's is actually closer. You're right. I looked up the Monahan's and Borger are the two Texas ones, but Monahan's is actually closer. You're right. Dime says he's 36, never heard of a Bennigan's or a Monte Cristo sandwich. You'd like it. I mean, if you like deli sandwich, I mean, it's ham, turkey, cheese, egg wash it, pan fry it. Sometimes people deep fry it. It's great. Great. We'll do the record prediction at a later date. This week, though, before the season starts. I'm also not worried my man Stoots, K4, or Stingley getting a pick this week. I mean, if Richardson can get it to him, he does some awful throws, man. Patty with a 35-16 Texans over Colts. You know when CJ Stroud will talk to the media? Tomorrow. He's scheduled to take the podium tomorrow. Stroud at the podium tomorrow afternoon about 2 o'clock. Third Coast Sports TV. Texans beat the Colts 31-18. I like that. Real Deal H-Town Fan 84. We're going to average 30 points per game. That'd be nice. Be real nice. Josh says, Cody, appreciate you, brother. Looking forward to spending the best Texan season of all time with you, all these awesome Texans fans. I'm looking forward to spending it with you guys. This is fun. I mean, where else do I get to do this? Hang out with you guys, talk football all day. Great. I love it. You guys, the reason I get to do this. So if I'd be talking to a screen and nobody if there were zero fans, but I love getting to interact with everybody and talk with you. And it's a blast. Talk with my buddy, Landry. Landry's one of my best friends in the entire world. Get to talk football with him all day. We're constantly on the phone talking about this Texans team, what we want to do here on YouTube. I mean, some fun stuff, man. Grace Ortiz says, San Antonio, I'll see you there, Stoots. I like that. Come on. Bennigan's on 610 was a sure way to get your car stolen. My mom loved Bennigan's. She loved a Monte Cristo from Bennigan's. He still goes to Cheddar's and get the Monte Cristo. Who leads the Texans in pick sixes this year? Somebody going to try. Someone's going to challenge him, and they're going to fail miserably. Do you think Sting will finally have an all-pro caliber season this year? If he stays healthy, he will be first team all-pro. If he plays the entire season, he will be first team all-pro. I fully 100% believe that. He was one of, if not the best players in training camp the entire time through. Is Bullock starting? If so, he gets a pick before Stingley or Lassiter. He is not starting. Your starters at safety are Ward and Petrie, and when Petrie walks down, it'll be Ward and Murray in there with Bullock mixed in as well. Thrill been spoken. Oh, Thrill been spoke. There we go. Be also more concerned about the Titans than the Colts. Their defense is slept on. I mean, they went and added Awuzie in free agency. They traded for L'Jarius Sneed. They've got Jeffrey Simmons. Some decent linebacker play. Don't have a lot of pass rush on the edge. Yeah, I'm not super worried about them. They can't score either. Who's corner number 3? Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah is corner number 3. JJ says, love seeing the fans invested again. I remember how rough it was listening to Texans content 2 to 3 years ago. Yeah, it was not easy. Now there's plenty, and I appreciate the fact that you choose me. Appreciate the fact that you choose me. Speaking of choosing, I was lucky enough to pop up on Kicking It with Kunkel again. If you remember, about a month ago, DJ BNMA and myself were on Kicking It with Kunkel. I was lucky enough to be on Kicking It with Kunkel again. DJ and I did a preview with Will earlier today. We talked a lot about the Texans this upcoming season. And I want you guys to do me a favor here, okay? I want you to do me a favor. The link to this video is in the description, all right? I want you to go in there, go into the comments section, and just write, love the logo. Look at this little logo that Kunkel's got here. It looks like a bobblehead. So if you can, you got a free moment or two, go over the Kicking It with Kunkel video, in the link in the description down below, and just write, love the logo. That's all you got to write, all right? Be our little inside secret, because Kunkel doesn't watch these, all right? He's my friend and all, but he doesn't watch all the content. And he's always like, well, what about this? And I'm like, Will, if you watch the videos, you know. But I appreciate Will having me on there. DJ's really good, had some good stuff in there as well. So check that out. Check that out. I think Devondre Sweat's going to be a problem. Kind of wanted the Texans to draft him, although I'm happy with our pick. Yeah, I mean, he went way earlier than a lot of people thought he was going to go. Can Will Anderson beat JJ's record, grab 40 tackles for a loss in his second year? Boy, wouldn't that be nice? Right? Wouldn't that be nice? Late getting here, is Anderson available this game? I expect him to play, barring some setback. I expect him to play. You'll find out initially if he's on the practice field tomorrow, and then the injury report tomorrow as well. Mr. Heisenberg, good to see you. Good to see you. Theo wants to know, Stoots, when's your next food review? Man, I like to do the fast food items. I've got a cool thing planned with some local restaurants. So I do the fast food items because if you're not in Houston, you can go get the fast food items. If you're in Houston, I want to take care of local places as well. So what I want to do is I want to go to restaurants, and I want them to give me their CJ Stroud menu item, their Will Anderson menu item, and then their best appetizer or smaller item, their Tank Dell item. Like appetizer, small, but packs a lot of punch, Tank Dell. And then your two backbones of your menu, your CJ Stroud, your Will Anderson. I want to go to local places and have them, hey, tell me what item is this? What menu item is this? And then talk with the owner about, how much they like the Texans or this and that. So that's kind of a small plan for some fun stuff in the future. The out and out just fast food reviews. I'll get you one soon. Maybe we'll make that a little bonus on Saturdays. The little Saturday videos that we do. Add that in as a little bonus on the back end, but I'll get you one soon, Theo. It's a good question. People like those. I appreciate that y'all like those. It's fun to do those. Who knew people eating food was okay? Let's see. Well, Canes launched something in July. That's not new. That's not new. It's already September. What are we talking about? July launch. If you see something you want me to review, send it in the chat too. We can do that. Also, somebody asked about fajitas earlier. Michael asked about fajitas. Whose fajitas are better than Lupe? I mean, the El Tiempo filet fajitas are great. They're expensive, but they're great. I mean, it's you get what you pay for. I like the lime fajitas of Guadalajara as well. I'm a big lime fan. I like the lime fajitas of Guadalajara. Michael, I meant to get to this a little bit earlier. I appreciate you weighing in here. How is Daniil not a captain? Hey, I mean, you got the defensive line represented by Will. And Will's coming in, he's a captain last year. So. You think Hunter's an upgrade over Grenard? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he's a monster. I think he's a monster. I'm putting a small future on Hunter for Defensive Player of the Year. I think there's a small chance he reaches 20 sacks. I mean, he had 16 and a half. The Texans think he could be better. So, I think Latu would be a threat in his rookie season. Yes, not against these guys because I like Titus and Laramie against him, but yes. The new Nashville chicken crispers at Chili's, maybe Nashville mozzarella sticks too. Okay, so this is funny because this is a thing that's kind of become new. They would always do this for you at Chili's. It just became popular that they will now do this. But the mozzarella sticks at Chili's are great. The chicken crispers are not as good as the OG ones, but they're good. I'll put it on the list, JJ. It's a maybe. What's up, Stoots? Did I miss the custom jersey raffle? So that I've let that winner know. The tough part is they're behind on custom jerseys. He hadn't got his custom jersey yet. We haven't got that for him yet, but that is in the books. We'll have some other fun stuff to give away here in the course of the channel over the next month or so. So just be on the lookout for that. Won't be a jersey, but it'll be fun. Maybe we'll give away a hat. Something like that. Jupiter's. That's pizza, right? If the Texans were to lose a game to play internationally, where would you want to see them play? Germany. I'd go to that one. Germany would be good. So I would say Germany. Mexico City's cool. I've been to Mexico City. I had a great time. Concern with Will's a reoccurrence of the high ankles injury from last year. Yep. That's going to be something he's going to have to deal with. If he practices, he will talk. And if he talks, we'll get a good sense of where we'll end. All right. Dime, that sounds really good. Where's the best place to shop for Texans caps, in your opinion? In the most variety you're going to get is when you go to the store, the Texans team store. If that's not possible, Fanatics is where you can go for that. I don't know of a lot of independent Texans stuff. Big City Lids. BG says Big City Lids. I don't know. I haven't heard of Big City Lids, but that sounds good. A cool name. Those Big City Lids. But yeah, in store at the team store, yeah, it's expensive. They're all expensive. The new stuff's expensive, but that's where they're going to have a lot of options. You can try stuff on, stuff like that. So, all right. Don't forget to visit Prize Picks. Link in the description down below. Play your first 5, get 50. Promo code Stoots, STOOTS. Sign up for Autograph, the free to use, free to download app. Your one-stop shop for all of your Texans content, including my content in there as well. And then some of my competitors and friends and things like that. But You get the gist. No fees in the autograph ticketing app as well. Make sure to go over to the Kicking It with Kunkel video. Check that out. Myself, Will Kunkel, DJ Bieneme from earlier today. And then in the comment section, say, love the logo. Love the logo. And Big City Cap Zone. If they keep Anthony Richardson in the pocket, he's cooked. Jake, send me an email. Send me an email. Email's in the description. I will have that conversation with you. I'm happy to have that conversation with you. Send me an email. All right, that'll do it for the live today. Check out the video from yesterday, the locker room video from yesterday. Jake Hansen, Jimmy Ward, and Jalen Petrie. Check out Kicking It with Kunkel. Check out the locker room here on YouTube as well, my buddy Landry Locker. And we end the live streams the same way each and every time. My hope for you is my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll be back